My husband got my best friend pregnant while I was traveling and planning a surprise for him, but what I did afterward left everyone shocked. This all started when my husband Dave got my best friend pregnant. I was on a 2-week trip, planning a huge surprise for him for our 10th anniversary. We were going to renew our vows. I had it all planned out, down to the last detail. But a few days before I was supposed to fly home, I got a call from our mutual friend Sarah. She was hysterical, crying so hard I could barely understand her. He got her pregnant, she kept saying. He got Amy pregnant. My first thought was that Sarah had lost her mind. Dave and Amy, my husband and my best friend, the two people I trusted most in the world, it couldn't be. But as Sarah calmed down, the story she told was sickeningly detailed. The timing, the circumstances, the fact that Amy was already showing and couldn't hide it anymore. I hung up the phone and just sat there. The wedding renewal plans scattered on the floor around me. The surprise I was planning, the trip I had been so excited about, it all turned to ash. I didn't want to scream or cry. I felt a weird, detached calm wash over me. I wasn't hurt anymore. I was just disappointed. I realized that my anger wasn't worth the emotional energy. Instead, I started to plot. I wasn't going to confront them. I wasn't going to show up and make a scene. That's what they expected. They would be prepared for that. I was going to do something they would never see coming. I went home and acted completely normal. I hugged Dave, told him how much I missed him, and even asked him about his weeks. He was a terrible liar, of course, and was stumbling over his words. His nervousness was confirmation enough. He thought he was in the clear. He thought I was oblivious. I just smiled and told him I had a big surprise for him. The next day, I invited Amy over for lunch. She came looking nervous and guilty. She avoided eye contact and kept fidgeting with her hands. I asked her about her life, her dating, her work. She babbled, her voice high and tight, and then I hit her with it. "So, I hear you're pregnant. Congratulations." Her face went white. She looked like she was about to faint. She started to mumble an apology, but I cut her off. "Don't worry," I said, a little too cheerfully. "I'm happy for you." She looked at me, confused. "Happy for me?" she asked. I just smiled. "Yes, I think it's wonderful. And don't worry about me. I've already decided to get a divorce. And don't worry, you'll have a great co-parent. Dave is going to be so happy." I then went on to explain how I'd already been in contact with a lawyer and had been working on a separation agreement. The look on her face when she realized I was completely serious and that she was about to be a single mother to Dave's baby was priceless. She hadn't considered that. She thought she was going to get the life I had. But I knew Dave. He wasn't the kind of man who would step up. He was the kind of man who would run, and I was giving him the perfect opportunity to do just that. The final blow came a few weeks later. We were all at a dinner party with our mutual friends, and Dave was being his usual charming, arrogant self. He was holding court, talking about his latest business deal, completely unaware of the bomb that was about to drop. Amy, who had been avoiding me for weeks, suddenly looked at me, her eyes wide with fear. I just nodded at her, a small, knowing smile on my face. She took a deep breath and stood up. "I have an announcement to make," she said, her voice shaking. She looked at Dave, who was still oblivious, and said, "Dave and I are expecting a baby." The whole table went silent. All eyes were on them. The look on Dave's face was pure shock. He hadn't expected her to say anything. He had no idea what was happening. He opened his mouth to say something, but Amy cut him off. "We're so excited to start our family," she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Then she looked at me and said, "And I'm so grateful to my best friend for being so supportive." Everyone looked at me. I just smiled. "Oh, I am supportive. I've even offered to help out with legal fees for the baby. After all, Dave will need to learn to be a dad, and I won't be around to remind him." The room erupted in gasps. Dave looked like he was about to collapse. He finally realized I wasn't just being supportive. I was publicly cutting him off from my family's wealth and exposing him for the coward he was. I had given him everything, and he had betrayed me. Now, all he had was a pregnant best friend and no way to support her. The look on his face, the slow realization that his entire life was falling apart, was worth more than any confrontation. It was the most satisfying moment of my life. I didn't have to do anything. I just let them burn their own lives down.